It is almost impossible to show you on camera just how much gold is sitting in this mat.
The best feeling in the whole world. You know? I've done a lot of things in my life and this feels pretty good.
Believe it or not, there are pieces of original ground waiting for you to go out and dig up if you know what you're looking for. And this is one such place. This hole here is about knee deep and there's a nice tasty piece of original ground at the bottom. Now don't get me wrong, the old timers stripped out all of the premium virgin ground, but what they left behind was the stuff that wasn't worth their time back then. If you're only making £5 per ounce, you're not going to waste your time on ground that's only giving you 2 or 3 grams per meter. And that is exactly what we have here. Over here we have a sluice tailings. You can tell that because of how fine the material is and there is no gravel in it. And on this side there is a wall of original ground, but this has been stacked up to create a berm so they could use this as a sluice channel. Now you can tell that because this gravel here is all higgledy-piggledy. It isn't laid in by a river, it's clearly been stacked. When we sampled this pile, we ended up getting some pretty decent gold and gemstones, but the thing that gave it away that it was probably original ground that hadn't been processed by the old timers was the quartz. This is a piece of quartz that has relatively recently popped out of its host rock and traveled downstream. It's worn, but it's not round. It's still got sharp angles on it. Whilst this piece just here is a well-worn piece of quartz. This has been traveling for quite a while. And for it to be packed up in quantity, so there's a lot of these sort of pieces of quartz hanging around the same area, means that it is original ground. Now to put this in perspective, I have perhaps done 15 to 20 pans today, and I've just run them through my river sluice, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pickers, heaps and heaps of specks and flour gold all through the sluice. Look at it. Just look at it. So now you know that you should be looking for rounded quartz in abundance to identify where potential sections of original ground are. I'm going to dig out a few pans, run it through the sluice, and then we'll clean it out and see what we get. Oh, come on, big rock, big rock. All right. All right. Fern, what doing? Is that your bush? Mick's just running a sample of dirt from another section through the little crock fluid bed sluice, and I just pulled this out of my tailings. Wicked cool quartz crystal. You can tell it was definitely part of a cluster just with some of the grooves and stuff that's in it. It's pretty stuffed, but you'll always find this sort of stuff on original ground as well. Bigger than average crystals, bigger than average gemstones. Senor Gadzi has returned from his pioneering expedition upstream.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! And he has got, hopefully something. Oh, he does. Look at that. Yeah, it's probably like 1/4 of a gram. Not too bad for a yabby pump and just a pan. Like old Vo-Gus. I like gold, it likes me. There's a big rock here, and there's a big rock here, and there's a big rock here. I'm going to try and move some of them. Got down to the bedrock in that hole, and I've got a test pan. So we're actually going to see how much gold is in each pan. I haven't done that yet. We've just been getting really good gold, so let's find out. Now I'm guessing there's going to be some richer ground and some poorer ground down there. So I should have done a test pan at the start. This is what I was talking about. So back in the day, the old timers would have been like, puh, that's nothing, because they're getting, you know, half an ounce of pan. But for us today, this stuff adds up quick. Yeah, boy. Ooh. This is just going straight into gobble guts. Nom 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 nom. Why don't you go find some real gold? Like more than you'd ever know. Ooh. They just, those two bits right there just appeared. Ta-da! Oh man, what a day! I've been working for a little while and I have opened up a lot of ground, as you may be able to see there. Every pan off the bottom has remained consistent, almost exactly the same as what I was getting from that test pan you just saw. And look at the mat! Look at it! It's full of boogers. It's absolutely full. This is full of black sand. Oh. There is just no way, no freaking way that I am leaving this spot, because it's meant to flood hard this week, and chances are that that is going to be mostly gone under heaps of overburden and stuff the next time I come back here. So even though my back's killing me, we're staying here. We're just staying here. Mixed pay dirt is definitely paying off through this fluid bed. The best thing about fluid beds is when the dirt goes on, the gold will trail behind. So if you watch this back edge, sometimes you end up spotting pieces like that one just there. Real cool. Patches of ground like this aren't overly uncommon. They had to use original ground to build water races and berms all the time. The problem that we usually have is actually gaining access to them to easily process. We're just very lucky in this case that it's right next to water. And I don't think I've seen gold this good in my sluice in a number of years. This is unreal. I'm guaranteed we're breaking records today. So yeah, that's just the dregs in the pan. Not too shabby. Oh, it's a hard life being a 21er. I have not seen this much gold in the top mat of a river sluice for probably 3 years, and back then it was all ultra-fine flower gold out of sluice tailings. This is original ground. We have pickers. We have legitimate, amazing looking pickers. I pull these mats, get it in the pan, have a quick look, take it home, blue bowl, then weigh it. Holy shit! It is almost impossible to show you on camera just how much gold is sitting in this mat. Every riffle is loaded with pieces. And then that's not even including going down to the dream mat. Like the letters are full, the cells are full of gemstones and black sand and gold. Ooh, that's a nice piece, man. Yeah. That is like a little nugget. No, that's just the top mat. That's just the V mat at the top. That's just the V mat. It's full of pickers and nuggets. Oh, yeah.
Whenever wind gets a dead.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm buying beers. Eh? All right. This has got to be a record for me. There is no way that I have ever dug up that much gold with a river sluice. Like high bank up, maybe, but not in a river sluice. The black sand's coarse too, which is a really good indicator that it's different. Like normally you get fine black sand, coarse black sand like this. That is easy my best take of probably the last 2 or 3 years. Look at that. They're all like chunks, like chunky chunks. This is going to take a while. One day Dare Ice Coffee is going to sponsor me, but for now it's just going to hold my concentrate. So this is everything we collected in that little mini sluicing session, and these classifiers here are 10, 20 and 30 mesh sieves. I'm not going to classify down to 50. I don't feel like there's a need. And this will be the first ever real pay dirt to go through the blue bowl, and I'm excited to use it because I haven't really done it. Everything in there is below 30 mesh. That will go in there at the end. But for now, let's see what we got in the plus 10 mesh. Now I know we got some big pieces, so I'm expecting some in here. Ooh, none of this material wants to move. That's why it was in the sluice. This is our plus 10 mesh gold that we're going to find out. It also contains some snuffer bottle gold that I did from the test pans. Ooh, we got some chunks. Plus 10 mesh. Hell yeah. Oh, and there's that big bit. Nice. All right, let's get them in the snuffer bottle. Because I'm working under a yellow light, I can't see gemstones properly, so I'm just going to tip all the concentrates into the 50 mesh screen at the bottom. And at the end, we're going to go through that and see what kind of gems we get. Next, we have our plus 20 mesh. Any pieces in here are still going to be really coarse. Hopefully, we're going to see some more pieces in here. I can definitely see a lot more black sand, which is likely going to be gemstones, but just under this light, difficult to see. Ooh, ooh, look how crunchy that plus 20 mesh is absolutely lit. Whilst it's still pretty easy to separate because we've classified so well, those rocks at the top, they're all gems. They're all little garnets, I'm pretty sure, and they are heavy and they do not want to move. I literally had to use my finger and scrape all those gemstones away from the gold. Alright, this is our plus 30 mesh. Most of it. Get out! There are hardly any blonde sands at all in this stuff, so we'll just take a little bit off. Oh, look at the gold coming out the back already. So this, again, we should see a high spec count, just because the smaller we go, the more pieces we're going to get. And we are seeing a decent show of colour. Look at that! Nice, coarse looking bits. Beautiful. My original estimate was 1.28 grams. Gadsy guessed 1.57 and Mick guessed 1.9. I thought Mick was going to be, way out. But he's not. He's really not. Concentrates are in the blue bowl, and I mean, you can already see heaps and heaps of flour gold in it. Now I've got my bilge pump set to about half speed. It's an 800 gallon an hour pump. Here we go. The idea here is simple. It's all centrifugal force. Every single item in this blue bowl has a different specific gravity. So gold being the heaviest, in all likelihood, then the gemstones, then the black sand and the tin, and then the quartz and whatnot. And everything light should slowly come up this cone and drop down into a little catch container that I have in the bottom. And just look at this. These are little eddies. These is your water pressure coming in now. Oh, man, look at it. I'm sorry if any of you have weak hearts, but this is just some serious gold pornography right now. This certainly is a lot easier than hand panning this mesh. Oh yeah. I am literally just going to let this run for like the next 10 or 15 minutes and just see where we're at, because it might very slowly move that gold up and out. And anything that I don't catch in this blue ball, there is a catch container underneath it, and I can check that later on. After 45 minutes runtime, I called it quits. I tried a few different techniques that Andrew from Adventure Gold mentioned to try, which is just to use a snuffer bottle to puff this stuff out to the outer edge. But he also said that you're going to end up with stuff left in your concentrate. So I just have to hand pan this out. That's going to take me a little while. So I'll get that gold done, and then we're going to get this on the scales.
And here it is, all of the gold I pulled out of that virgin deposit next to a Clash Guitars pick for a bit of scale. Now what I thought were gemstones originally under a white light turned out to be cassiterite or tin. It is very rare to find pieces of tin this big anywhere in my region. The few times I have found pockets of original ground, the tin gets huge, just like this. And I understand that the concept of a virgin pocket of ground might be a bit difficult to understand, but the principle is extremely simple. The old timers had to pull dirt from somewhere around their pay piles to create banks, berms, and water channels. And sitting underneath those banks, berms, and water channels is usually pockets of ground that were never sluiced, just like this one. But now it's time to get this on the scales. I have the scales all teared off, and honestly, I think Mick is going to be closest. So I'm going to peg 1.851 grams, but I still think Mick's going to beat me. Ooh, baby, look at it climb. 1.937 grams river sluicing. 1.937 grams of gold is worth 151 Australian dollars at the time of recording, which I think has definitely beaten a lot of previous records. Yes, I have pulled out more gold in one hit, but not on camera, and the only one that I can think of that was even close, actually there's two, was when I pulled out my 3.8 gram nugget, and I pulled out 4 grams, but that took 3 days and had 3 people using high bankers to do it. And yes, you can definitely get way better gold takes than that in different areas right across the world, but in my region, that is pretty dang rare. I wanted to say thank you so much for watching this short little film. If you did enjoy it, chances are you'll like one of the other 450 videos I have on gold prospecting, metal detecting, and treasure hunting, so please give those a check out. If you could hit the subscribe button if that's something you're into, a like button, and until next time, please give your dog a scratch behind the ears for me. Peace! And I'm gonna go get back there, because that's too good to leave.